Bonjour tout le monde! Hi everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope your beginning of the week is starting well. I'm excited to see you today for today's class. Today, we're going to talk about something new, something that you all want to know, which is the numbers in French. So we're going to see how do we pronounce all of the numbers in French. I feel like this is something very interesting, maybe sometimes kind of hard. So we're going to see little tricks. We're going to learn little ways, easy ways to remember how to pronounce the numbers in French. You're going to see it's not very hard. It's just a little trick that you need to learn. And then once you learn that, everything's going to be super easy. So we're going to talk about les nombres, the numbers. Of course, when you think about the numbers, you start from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. How do we say 1? 1, we're going to say un. If you followed a little bit the lessons before, you know that un, it's also the way to say So if you want to say like a cat, un chat, so in English and 1 would be the same number, same word. We're going to say un. Then 2. If you want to say 2, you're going to say deux. Careful with the pronunciation here. Deux, you never pronounce the X. So you're just going to be saying deux. 2, deux. Then you have trois. Trois, 3. Same as usual. If you don't have an R, the last consonant is not an R. That last consonant will most of the time, be mute. So you're going to be saying trois, not trois. Careful, we never pronounce the S. Trois. Then we have 4. 4, we're going to say quatre. Same as usual, quatre. This one tricky. Why? Because you have QU. Most of the time, in some words in French, you're going to see that the Q will be followed by the U. The U, always mute. Careful, never say quatre, quatre. The U is mute, so you're going to say quatre. And because the E at the end has no accent on it, same as usual, we never pronounce it. So in this noun, this number, you're not going to pronounce the U and you're not going to pronounce the E. So 4, quatre. Then we have cinq. This one, exception. Why? Because in this one, you pronounce the Q. It's one of the rare little words where you have to pronounce a consonant that is not an R, but for 5, you pronounce it. So you're going to be saying cinq. Then 6. How do we say 6? This one, the X, you're going to be switching the sound a little bit. So you're not going to be pronouncing the X like an X, but you're going to be pronouncing it like an S. So you're going to be saying six. Like if it was like just SIS, six. Then 7. 7, tricky too. Why is it tricky? Because in this one, you pronounce the T, but you don't pronounce the P. So you're not going to be saying sept, you're going to be saying sept. Imagine that there's no P, sept. Then 8, huit. This one, the H, mute, but you pronounce the final T, huit. Then we have 9, which is neuf. You pronounce every letter here, neuf. And 10, same as 6. The X, you're going to be pronouncing 10, like a S. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, et 10. Then, after 10, what do we have? You have 11. 11, 11. Careful this one too. Final E, no accent, mute. 11. 12, we say 12. Same thing. ZE, you just pronounce the Z. 13, we say 13. 14, 14. Same as the one we saw before, 4. QU, don't pronounce the U. 14. And same as usual, never pronounce the final E. Don't say 14, 14. You just stop at the Z. 14. Then we have 15. 15, we say 15. Every time that you have the I and the N together, it makes it sound un, not in. Careful. 15. So in this one, don't pronounce the U, don't pronounce the final E, and I pronounce the IN like un. 15. Then 16. 16, 16. Same thing. The E and the I makes the sound eh. You don't pronounce the final E, so you're going to be saying says. And once we reach 17, it becomes super easy. Why? 17, you say 17. What is this? Do you remember this? This, 10. 17. You're going to be saying 10 and 7. So 10 and 7, 7, 17. Same for 18. 18 is going to be 10 and 8. 10, 8. 19, 10, 9. So 10 and 9. And then 20, careful, this one is tricky too. You're going to be saying 20. So in this one, the T is mute, the G is mute. 20. You're going to know that every time that we're going to have to associate two numbers, such as 17, 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, we put a little dash, little FN in between to show that the numbers are still connected. And even though on their own, they are like independent numbers, such as 10, 10, 7, 7, when they put together with a little dash in between, it makes a new number. So 17, 18, 19, 20. Careful, never pronounce the GT at 20. And it's just the same rule over and over again. So you know that 20 is 20. When you want to say 21, and you're going to see that it's going to be the same thing for 31, 41, 51, 61, etc. When it's going to be 1, you're going to say et un. Et means and. So it's like you're saying 20 and 1. Donc 21, 21. I had my little dash all the time between all of my numbers, and I try to make it smooth when I'm going to read it. So I'm going to say 21, 20 and 1. But then when it comes to 22, 23, 24, I don't have the end anymore. The end is just for the 1, and I'm just going to connect my two numbers together. So I know that 20 is 20. I know that 2 is 2, 22, 22. And then same thing over and over again. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30, 30. EN on sound. I don't pronounce the E at the end because it's mute, no accent on it, but keep in mind that every time you have a final E, you always pronounce the consonant just before the E. So here, 30, we have the T. I pronounce the T, but I don't pronounce the E. 30. Every time you're going to be adding those two numbers together, you're going to add a little dash in between. Don't forget. Donc 23, 24, 25, 26. Remember, not 26, 26, 26, 27. Don't pronounce the P. 28, 29, 30. And then, same thing again. 30, 30, 31, 30, et un. For 31, when it's 1, I need to add my end. 30 et un. And then we do it over again. 32, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 40. Same as usual. 40. Don't pronounce the U. Don't pronounce the final E, but pronounce the T. 40. Every time you're going to be having A and N together en sound. 40. Good. Then we keep going. 40, 40, 41, 40 et un. I add my end just for the 1. 41. And when I want to read it or when I want to say it, I try to make as smooth as possible. 41. And then 42, 43, 44. This one kind of hard because you have like QU and the R. Careful. 40 is 40. 4 is 4. 44, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. And then 50. 50, 50. 50. you have the IN, such as 5, that you pronounce un, and I don't pronounce the final E. 50, 50. And we keep going. 51, 50 et un. I had my end, 51. And then I had my unit, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Careful with this one. 60, 60. 60. So in this one, remember 6 is 6. I turn my X into a S. For 60, I'm going to be saying the X like a S. 60. 60, 60. And here we go again. 61, 61. 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. And then here, kind of weird, kind of funny too. How do we say 70? You have 60, you have 10. What is 60? 60, 60. What is this? This, 10. 70, 60, 10. So because we say 60, 10, 70 to say 70, when you want to say 71, you're going to be saying 60, 11. And you start, because you're starting at 10, you have to follow 10, 11, 12, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to be saying 71, 60 et 11. I still keep my end, even though it's not like 1, it's 11, 11. For the 1, I keep my end, and then I keep going. 60 et 11, 60 and 11. And then 72, 72. I know that 12 is 12, so 60, 12, 72, 72. And then I keep going. 73, 60, 13, 74, 60, 14, 75, 76. Okay, 77. You know that 17, it's 10 and 7. 10 and 7, 17. So if I want to say 77, I'm going to be saying 60, 17. 60, 60, 17, 17. 77. Same thing, 78, 79. This one is my favorite. 80. 80. What is 4? 4. 4. What is 20? 20. 20. Why 420? Because 80, 4 times 20. So when you want to say 80, you're going to be saying 80. 80, 4 times 20. And keep going. 81, 81. Here in this one, I don't have my end. Just say 81, not 81. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. And then, remember 70? 70, 60, 10, 60, 10. For 90, it's the same thing. If I want to say 90, I'm going to be saying 80, 10. These are just the two examples where you have to say the 10. So 70, 60, 10, 90, 80, 10. So to say 90, you're going to be saying 80, which is 4 times 20, which is 80, plus 10. 80, 10. And you keep going. 91, 91, which is 80, 80, 11, 11. 80 plus 11, 91. 91, 92, 93, donc 93, 80, 80, 13, 13. 80 plus 13, 93. 94, 95, 96, 97. This one kind of long. Why? Because you have 17. 17, 17. So 10 and 7. 80, 420, 80. So you're going to be saying 80, 17, 97. Every time you had a number, little dash in between, all the time. So we show that they're still connected all the time. Then 98, 99, 19, 19, because 10 is 10, 9 is 9, 19, 19, 80, 80, 80, 19, 99. And then the last one, 100. Careful with the pronunciation on this one. 100. You say 100. Same as usual. You don't pronounce the T. 100. And now you know your numbers from 1 to 100. I want you to try to do this little exercise, which is on one part you have the number, on the other one you have them written down. I want you to try to write those numbers by letters or by the number. Don't hesitate to text us, to go on our social media if you have any question. I just cannot wait to see your results, your answers. Please, we are still here and we cannot wait to see you for the next class. And I just cannot wait to see you soon. And I wish you all a good end of the week, a good weekend, and I cannot wait to see you soon. Salut!